Hello guys, Assalamu alaikum. So today we're going to do the book Social Studies 4, and this is the book we are going to follow for our upcoming curriculum, and this is a social studies book and the book number 4, and it is for grade 4. It is used for grade 4 children. Okay, so let's start with our class and let's start with our chapter number 1 today. Okay, so this is our chapter number 1, and as you can see, the name is written over here on the screen. The name is The Story of the Province of Sindh. Okay, so all of you know that we live in Pakistan, and Pakistan has 4 provinces. And Pakistan has 4 provinces, and the names of those provinces are Sindh, Punjab, Balochistan, KPK, and also Kashmir is part of our Pakistan. Azad Kashmir is part of our Pakistan. Okay, but today the story which we're going to read it's going to be about Sindh. Okay, so Sindh is a province of Pakistan. Okay, and we are reading over here about Sindh. So let's start reading, and in the middle I will explain you what it is and how it is. Okay, Sindh is one of the 4 provinces of Pakistan. It is also called the Gateway of Islam. It has been given this name because Islam came for the first time into South Asia through Sindh. Islam was introduced here when the young Muslim General Muhammad bin Qasim conquered Sindh about 1250 years ago. Okay, so Sindh is one of the 4 provinces, as I told you before, and it is also called the Gateway of Islam. Why is it called Gateway of Islam? Because Islam came into South Asia through Sindh. Okay, and Muhammad bin Qasim was the person who conquered Sindh about 1250 years ago. Okay, so Sindh is also called the gift of the river Indus. The fertility of Sindh depends on river Indus. Hence, its name is given to Sindh. This province has very little rainfall, so its agriculture depends on the water of river Indus. Okay, so Sindh is also called the gift of the river Indus. The fertility of Sindh depends on river Indus, hence its name is given to Sindh. This province has very little rainfall. Okay, it does not have so much rainfall, as you all know, and the people who are living in Hyderabad and Karachi and Thatta and all these places, they already know that how less rain do Sindh people have. The people who are living in Sindh, they have very less rainfall. Okay. So let's continue reading. Before independence, the whole Indo-Pakistan was ruled by the British. When Pakistan came into being, Sindh was also under the British control. The Muslims of South Asia formed a political party, namely the All India Muslim League. The aims and objectives of this party were to get freedom from the British and to form a separate, independent, and permanent homeland for the Muslims. The name of this new country was proposed by Chaudhry Rahmat Ali as Pakistan. The Muslims demanded Pakistan because they feared that the Hindus, after independence, would dominate the Muslims and make them second-grade citizens. Okay, so now what is happening over here in this part, that before Pakistan got independence, it was ruled by British, right? So when Pakistan came into being, Sindh was also under the British control, as you have seen many places over here over in Karachi also, that there are so many places which are built by British people and they are still there and the buildings are still intact, and we call them ancient buildings, or we call them history of our Pakistan. So, well, those were built by British and they were controlled by British, but that was before independence. After independence, everything was under Pakistan, and the whole and sole control of it was into Pakistani hands. So the Muslims of South Asia, what did they do? They formed a political party, and the name of that party was All India Muslim League. Okay, so the name of that party was All India Muslim League. The aims and objectives of the party was to get freedom from British and to form a separate independent land in which all the Muslims can live freely, right? Let's go to the next page. So then came the Pakistan resolution. What came after that? After thinking about having a different party and having a different homeland for Muslims, that's when the Pakistan resolution came into being, right? So the Pakistan resolution was passed by the All India Muslim League at Lahore on March 23 in 1940. So both the Hindus and the British did not like the idea of creation of Pakistan. They opposed it strongly. Quaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah compelled the British and the Hindus to accept the idea of Pakistan. By the grace of Allah, Pakistan came into being on 14th August 1947. So where was this Pakistan resolution held? It was held over here at Minar, Pakistan. Okay, so Minar, Pakistan is located in Lahore, and Lahore is in Punjab. And Punjab is also a province of Pakistan. So basically, the Pakistan resolution took place over here in at Lahore, okay, at Minar, Pakistan. Okay, let's move forward. So Sindh was the only province where for the first time a complete Muslim League cabinet was formed. In the whole of South Asia, no such Muslim-dominated cabinet had ever been formed before the creation of Pakistan. The Sindh Provincial Assembly, after resuming office, was the first in South Asia to support the demand of Pakistan as a separate homeland for the Muslims. So now over here, what is happening? That Sindh was the only province where, for the first time, a complete Muslim League cabinet was formed, right? So that's why Sindh is so important over here in Pakistan's history. Okay. So the Sindh Provincial Assembly, after resuming office, was the first in South Asia to support the demand of Pakistan as a separate homeland for the Muslims. So now you know that when was the Sindh Muslim Assembly was formed. Okay, Sindh Provincial Assembly was formed in Sindh, and that's where they were supporting the demand of Pakistan as a separate homeland for the Muslims. Okay, great leaders. Now we're coming to the topic great leaders. So what are great leaders? Now there were some really great leaders who helped build Pakistan. So let's read about them. Muslim leaders of Sindh wholeheartedly supported the idea of Pakistan. The prominent among them were Quaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah. So we all know about Quaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah, right? So we all know about Quaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah. He was the founder of Pakistan. He is also known as the father of nation, and many titles he has for building Pakistan, or for making Pakistan, or making for putting Pakistan into being. So the next person was Haji Abdullah Haroon. And then there was Sheikh Abdul Majid Sindhi and Sir Ghulam Hussain Hidayatullah. Now, all of these people wholeheartedly supported the idea of Pakistan. They were the Muslim leaders and they were supporting Pakistan. They wanted to have a great nation. They wanted to have a place, a separate homeland for Muslims. So they made sure that the people of Pakistan were working day and night, were working hard enough to have a separate homeland for themselves. Now let's come to the people. The people of Sindh are very hospitable. They love their country. They are hardworking and polite. Agriculture and breeding cattle are their main professions. So agriculture and breeding cattle are the main professions of Pakistani people. The handicrafts of Sindh are famous all over the world. So we all know that the handicrafts of Sindh are so famous around the world. We have some beautiful pottery paintings and we have some beautiful carvings and everything like that. So they are so amazing and so beautiful that they are totally known worldwide. Let's go to the next page. Okay, so now we are at the end of the chapter. And over here, we have some questions. Okay, over here we have some questions. So let's go through the questions and then we'll find out what are the answers. So first we're going to read the questions and then we're going to go with the question and answer one by one. Okay, so what is the question? Why is Sindh called the gateway of Islam? Why is Sindh called the gateway of Islam? Why is Sindh called the gift of river Indus? Why, when, and where was the Pakistan resolution passed? Who opposed the idea of creation of Pakistan? When did Pakistan came into being? Where was the first Muslim-dominated cabinet formed for the first time in the whole of South Asia? Who were the early supporters of the idea of Pakistan in Sindh? So we have read the questions and now we're going to read the questions with the answer. So let's read first question. The first question is, why is Sindh called the gateway of Islam? So let's go to back to our first page where was the heading of the chapter, and we are reading about the story of the province of Sindh. So Sindh is one of the 4 provinces of Pakistan. It is also called the gateway of Islam. So here we have our answer. So here we have our answer that why is Sindh called the gateway of Islam, right? So we all know that it is one of the 4 provinces and it is also called the gateway of Islam. Why? Because Islam was introduced here when the young Muslim General Muhammad bin Qasim conquered Sindh about 1250 years ago. And it has been given this name because Islam came for the first time into South Asia through Sindh. All right. So that's why it's called the gateway of Islam. Now let's go to the second question. Why is Sindh called the gift of river Indus? Why is Sindh called the gift of river Indus? Sindh is called the gift of the river Indus. The fertility of Sindh depends on river Indus. That's why. The fertility means the crops we grow, the agriculture we have, and the vegetables we grow, the fruits we grow, all of it depends on river Indus. That's why it is called the gift of river Indus. Hence, its name is given to Sindh. Because why? Why? Because the province has very little rainfall. So its agriculture depends on the water of river Indus. Okay. So now we have the answer of question number 2 also. Why, when, and where was the Pakistan resolution passed? Okay, so why, when, and where? Let's read this. So the Pakistan resolution was passed by All India Muslim League at Lahore on March 23, 1940, right? So it was held in Lahore. So we can answer that why, when, and where. So why is that? Because Muslims wanted a separate nation. That's why the Pakistan resolution was passed, because the Muslims demanded Pakistan because they feared that the Hindus after independence would dominate the Muslims and make them second-grade citizens. So that's why Muslims demanded the separate homeland. And it was passed by the All India Muslim League at Lahore on March 23, 1940. So now we have the answer for the whole question. Why, when, and where? Who opposed the idea of creation of Pakistan? So we can see the answer over here. That British did not like the idea of creation of Pakistan. They opposed it strongly, and Quaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah compelled the British and the Hindus to accept the idea of Pakistan. Okay, so who did not like it or who opposed it? It was British who did not like the idea of creation of Pakistan. When did Pakistan came into being? So we all know that when did Pakistan came into being? Pakistan came into being on 14th August 1947. And where was the first Muslim-dominated cabinet formed for the first time in the whole of South Asia? So the Muslims of South Asia formed a political party namely the All India Muslim League, and the aims and objectives of this party were to get freedom from the British and to form a separate, independent, and permanent homeland for the Muslims. Okay? Okay, so the question is, where was the first Muslim-dominated cabinet formed for the first time in the whole of South Asia? Okay, so the answer is Sindh was the only province where for the first time a complete Muslim League cabinet was formed. In the whole of South Asia, no such Muslim-dominated cabinet had ever been formed before the creation of Pakistan. So this is the answer for this question. Question number 6. Okay, so who were the early supporters of the idea of Pakistan in Sindh? Who were the early supporters? Let's see who were the early supporters. So the Muslim leaders of Sindh wholeheartedly supported the idea of Pakistan. The prominent among them were Quaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah, Haji Abdullah Haroon, Sheikh Abdul Majid Sindhi, and Sir Ghulam Hussain Hidayatullah. These were the people who were totally ready and supported the idea of Pakistan. Okay, so now over here we have tick the correct statement and cross the wrong statement out of the following. Sindh is called the gateway of Pakistan. Sindh is called the gateway of Pakistan. Is it correct? Is it wrong? It is not called the gateway of Pakistan. It is called the gateway of Islam, or the gift of river Indus. Islam came for the first time in the world in Sindh. Yes. Muhammad bin Qasim came to Sindh as a tourist from Iraq. Wrong. Muhammad bin Qasim conquered Sindh about 1250 years ago. Correct. Sindh has very fertile lands irrigated by the water of river Indus. Correct. The agriculture of Sindh province depends on rainfall. Wrong, because Sindh has very less rainfalls. The Pakistan resolution was passed on March 23, 1940. And that's correct. Yes, that's correct. So these are the answers you get when you are going to open your book and when you're going to read these sentences. So here are the answers you get. Okay, so let's go through the chapter one more time so that everything is clear and all the questions and answers are being answered. Okay, the story of the province of Sindh. Sindh is one of the four provinces of Pakistan. It is also called the Gateway of Islam. It has been given this name because Islam came for the first time into South Asia through Sindh. Islam was introduced here when a young Muslim general, Muhammad bin Qasim, conquered Sindh about 1250 years ago. Sindh is also called the gift of the river Indus. The fertility of Sindh depends on river Indus, hence its name is given to Sindh. This province has very little rainfall, so its agriculture depends on the water of river Indus. Before independence, the whole Indo-Pakistan was ruled by the British. When Pakistan came into being, Sindh was also under the British control. The Muslims of South Asia formed a political party, namely the All India Muslim League. The aims and objectives of this party were to get freedom from the British and to form a separate, independent, and permanent homeland for the Muslims. The name of this new country was proposed by Chaudhry Rahmat Ali as Pakistan. The Muslims demanded Pakistan because they feared that the Hindus after independence would dominate the Muslims and make them second-grade citizens. The Pakistan resolution was passed by the All India Muslim League at Lahore on March 23, 1940. Both the Hindus and the British did not like the idea of creation of Pakistan. They opposed it strongly. Quaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah compelled the British and the Hindus to accept the idea of Pakistan. By the grace of Allah, Pakistan came into being on 14th August 1947. So this is the Minar-e-Pakistan and it is located in Lahore, and over here they held the meeting of passing the resolution of Pakistan for making Pakistan. Sindh was the only province where, for the first time, a complete Muslim League cabinet was formed. In the whole of South Asia, no such Muslim-dominated cabinet had ever been formed before the creation of Pakistan. So this was the first Muslim League cabinet. The Sindh Provincial Assembly, after resuming office, was the first in South Asia to support the demand of Pakistan as a separate homeland for the Muslims. Muslim leaders of Sindh wholeheartedly supported the idea of Pakistan. The prominent among them were Quaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah, Haji Abdullah Haroon, Sheikh Abdul Majid Sindhi, and Sir Ghulam Hussain Hidayatullah. The people of Sindh are very hospitable. They love their country. They are hardworking and polite. Agriculture and breeding cattle are their main professions. The handicrafts of Sindh are famous all over the world. Okay, so we are at the end of the chapter now. And the next chapter which we are going to read is also connected to the Sindh. Okay, so I'll give you quickly a brief introduction of that chapter, and then we'll end the class. Okay, so the chapter 2 which we are going to do is going to be natural conditions of the province of Sindh. And in this chapter, we are going to talk about the natural conditions of Sindh, as the name says. Okay, it's all going to be about Sindh only, and how the northern part of Sindh is, and how the southern part of Sindh is, and how there are different places over here in Sindh. Okay, so this is a review of our chapter number 2. So when we come next to the class, so you will know that what are we reading. Okay, so we'll end our class over here now, and I hope the chapter today, the story of the province of Sindh, is very much clear to you, all of you, and hope you guys have a nice day, have a nice time, and I hope you enjoyed the lesson today. And inshallah, I'm going to see you in the next class. Bye-bye.